Shalom, brothers and sisters in Christ. This week we step into the third week of Advent with a theme revolving around joy. We lighted the candle of joy over the weekend masses, and this candle is pink. It's different from all the other candles. And a lot of times when we think about joy, we think that it is just pure. It is not mixed around any other feelings of doubt, uncertainty, fear, anything that makes us feel uneasy. So, and the candle of joy is like the third week of Advent, and it is like about halfway through the time of Advent. And if we are talking about the midpoint of something, we realize that that is where things should at least be half done. And this is also where we begin to intensify our preparations of whatever that we are doing. So if we are students, the halfway point of the semester is when we realize that our assignment should have at least been started, or we should at least be starting it right now if we want to do well. If you're talking about work, it could be something similar as well. And so when we talk about Advent, it is about halfway through, talk about the theme of joy, Sunday of Joy. It is halfway through the season of Advent. So this is when we generally begin to intensify our Christmas preparations. And one of the things that I've discovered this Advent is that Advent is described as a Marian season. It is one that we spend a lot of time with Mary, because it is through her that we learn to prepare for the coming of Jesus again in our hearts, in our homes, in our lives. And in today's readings taken from the book of Gospel of Luke, we see the story of the Annunciation, and the next part that follows is the story of the Visitation. And in the Annunciation, we know that this is where Mary is filled with joy by the message of Angel Gabriel, and she breaks out in song, the Magnificat. And during this time, we know that Mary was not only filled with joy, because she was being asked to step into something that was never asked of anyone before. Yet Mary agreed to it, and she was still able to break out with joy in song. And during this Annunciation as well, Mary finds out that her cousin Elizabeth is with child as well. And what Mary does is she doesn't go and stay at home on herself and just celebrate the pregnancy of Elizabeth on her own. But what she does is she goes out to be with Elizabeth, and we know that this journey probably took very long for Mary to reach Elizabeth, and this is something Mary did as well. So from Mary, we learn that the joy that we receive from the Lord is not meant to be contained within ourselves. This joy is meant to go out. It's meant to be shared with the people around us. It's meant to be resonated. It's meant to be received well, shared and received by others as well. And Pope Francis tells us this as well as so many other saints, that the joy that we receive, it is not based on the circumstances around us, but it comes from the Lord. That's why we can still celebrate the joy like Mary did, because this joy came from the Lord, and she was able to go out and share this with other people as well. So even in the midst of her uncertainty, of her doubt, of her fears, she was still able to celebrate the joy of the Lord. So this week in Advent, this time where we begin to prepare ourselves more for Christmas, maybe what we can do to celebrate this Sunday of this week of joy is to not be so focused on the list of things that we have to do in order to be ready for Christmas Day, but to spend more time with the people around us, celebrating and sharing this joy that we have received. So how do we receive this joy? We get this answer from the first reading today. It is to spend time with the Lord, to be in silence with the Lord, to increase our time of prayer with the Lord, so that we can receive this joy, we can receive all the gifts that He wants us to receive, but most specifically this week, joy, and be able to share them as Mary did with the people around her, so that we too can share it with the people around us. My brothers and sisters, I pray that you have a joyful week ahead, a holy week